Emergency transmission from the angelic realm. You've been targeted spiritually by someone you work with. Open it immediately. A spiritual message was released at 3:33 a.m., not by chance but by divine instruction. In the depths of the silent hours, when the veil is thinnest and the watchers move unobserved, the alarm was sounded in stillness. Not every ear could hear it, and not every heart could feel it, but you did. You were awakened, nudged, stirred in your spirit because this message carries your name woven into its frequency. Archangel Michael, commander of the heavenly host, has stepped forward to sound this trumpet, not with thunder, but with a whisper powerful enough to split the silence between realms. Someone in your workplace, cloaked in familiarity, wrapped in polite words, concealed behind shared projects and smiles, has been spiritually marked. Marked not by human suspicion, but by the angelic realm, which sees beyond behavior into intent. This individual walks in shadows while appearing in light. Their actions may seem subtle, but their spiritual posture has been recorded, and their energy has been flagged by the Most High. Let this be clear. This is not for everyone. This message is coded, is targeted. It will only resonate with those whose spirit is already trembling with recognition. You don't need proof. Your spirit has already confirmed it. You've felt it in the shift of air when they enter the room, in the strange pressure in your chest after a meeting, in the sudden fatigue that follows casual interactions. Something isn't right, and heaven is now confirming. You've been seen. You've been targeted. You've been silently marked. But do not speak, not yet. The temptation to confront will rise like fire in your chest, but obedience is your current weapon. You are not being silenced. You are being strategically positioned, because discernment is louder than defense, and heaven will not let your foot slip if you follow the instructions. This is a spiritual test of alignment, not aggression. Your response, or lack thereof, in this moment, will determine what opens next. Doors, dimensions, promotions, removals. What feels like betrayal is actually a divine setup. You've entered a hidden battle, and the first command is this: be still, be aware, and receive. You have been chosen for spiritual elevation through the very eyes watching you now. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. In the next 48 hours, the mask will slip. Pay attention. Listen closely. There is no music, no sound, no noise where this message originates, only divine echo, only spiritual transmission. The hour is late in the natural world, but it is high alert in the spirit realm. You were not scrolling by accident. You were interrupted because heaven wanted your undivided attention. Archangel Michael, guardian of divine order, bearer of the flaming sword, has stepped into your atmosphere with divine urgency. And you must not dismiss this call. The next 48 hours will unveil what was hidden in plain sight. Pay attention to what tries to distract you right now. Because when heaven interrupts, it means something has already been set in motion on your behalf. Right now, even as these words are read, the angelic realm has posted watchers over your life. Not just over your home, not just over your family, but over your workplace. Over every whisper spoken behind your back, over every shift in energy when you enter the room, over every manipulated outcome, every false narrative. The office, the building, the Zoom call, the hallway, the break room. They are being monitored in the spirit. The conversations you were excluded from, heard. The moments you felt a cold shift, a hesitating eye, a sudden dismissal. Blocked. Every interaction you've been questioning, seemed. Because heaven is watching what they thought was hidden. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are discerning it. The glances, the delays, the way decisions seem to go quiet when your name is involved. The meetings you didn't know happen. The way your ideas are echoed later in someone else's voice is not just professional, it's intentional. This isn't simple workplace politics. This is a spiritual setup designed to agitate, distract, and provoke. But this is the moment you shift from reaction to revelation. Archangel Michael is stepping forward not to alarm you, but to arm you. The angelic realm is releasing divine surveillance. You were divinely interrupted to hear this first, because what's coming in the next 2 days will try to position itself as normal. But it is not normal. What seems like a harmless oversight, a casual miscommunication, a harmless exclusion, is actually a calculated distraction. Something is about to slip. A mask, a disguise, a carefully built image that someone around you has used to hide their spiritual motive. You won't need to force clarity. It will reveal itself. Pay attention. The one who smiles in public but stirs conflict in secret, their covering is beginning to crack. And that cracking is divine. Not caused by gossip, not caused by retaliation, but caused by the pressure of heaven weighing down on false foundations. The light is coming, and when it comes, it exposes not just what is wrong but what is real. You may ask, why me? Why am I feeling this urgency? Why does my spirit feel unsettled even when everything looks normal? Because you are a vessel of truth. Because you are positioned not to participate in spiritual warfare, but to dominate it silently. Because your very presence, your stillness, your obedience, is disrupting demonic assignments hiding behind job titles. You didn't come to fight in the flesh. You were placed here as a divine disruptor. Your favor is the threat. Your light is the disruption. And now you are being told to watch. For in the next 48 hours, the Spirit of Truth will begin to separate what is real from what is role-played. And when the shift begins, be quiet. Do not explain. Do not confront. Do not clarify. Let the Spirit move through exposure. Heaven has taken responsibility for the outcome. Your only responsibility is awareness. This message is not for the masses. It is for the few, the spiritually sensitive, the ones who have been quietly asking, what is going on at work? The ones who have prayed and said, God, show me what I can't see. The ones who have noticed the change in the atmosphere but didn't want to sound paranoid. You're not paranoid. You're prophetic. And this message is the confirmation your spirit hath been asking for. You were sent into that space not as a victim, but as an undercover intercessor. Not to change systems in your strength, but to let heaven shift atmospheres through your stillness. The next 48 hours are not random. They are ordained, and they are counting on your attention. Be vigilant. Be discerning. Stay quiet. Watch how the Holy Spirit moves. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. A shift in their tone, you felt it. You questioned it. And then you dismissed it. You said, maybe I'm being sensitive. You convinced yourself that you were overthinking. But your spirit was screaming truth before your mind caught up. Heaven is now confirming. You were not mistaken. The shift in their tone was real. The coldness in their words. The forced politeness. The unspoken irritation behind the smile. They once clapped for you. Now they can barely make eye contact. This isn't your imagination. This is spiritual revelation. and it hath been unfolding in slow motion right in front of you. You've noticed the glances, the way they look at each other before speaking, the silent meetings you were not invited to, the awkward pauses when you enter the room, the way conversations die when your name appears in the thread, the subtle hesitations, the delayed responses. It's all intentional. What you're sensing is not accidental miscommunication. It is spiritual sabotage wrapped in professionalism. And your soul is weary not from overwork, but from over-observing spiritual resistance in a natural setting. Ask yourself, why does my spirit feel tired after meetings? Why do you leave rooms feeling spiritually drained, even though no one raised their voice? Why do your dreams start to shift the night before important workdays? Why do you feel a heavy thought of confusion around certain people who once made you laugh? Because what was once camaraderie has now turned into spiritual conflict. And the war isn't over facts, it's over favor. You were placed in a space where envy already lived, where someone saw your presence as a threat long before you saw it as a mission. They discerned your favor before you even understood your assignment. They noticed the divine light around you, the way people naturally listen to you, the way you carry yourself with grace even under pressure, the way you bounce back from what should have broken you. They felt the weight of your calling, and instead of celebrating it, they sought to sabotage it. And because this warfare is not physical, their attack is not obvious. It's hidden in sarcasm. It's veiled in false concern. It's covered in policies, procedures, and plausible deniability. But the spiritual residue of their intention lingers. That heaviness you feel isn't just stress. It's spiritual static, evidence of the silent war occurring behind the scenes. But listen, this is not to provoke fear. This is to activate discernment. You must now decode the silence around you. The hesitations, the omissions, the inconsistencies, all of it speaks. All of it points to the truth behind the mask. Heaven is asking you to stop second-guessing your intuition. You are not the problem. You are not the threat. Your anointing is. The favor on your name is what they've been trying to discredit. Your potential is what they've been trying to contain. It's not personal. It's prophetic. They are reacting to your presence because your spirit unsettles their comfort with compromise. You're not loud. You're not confrontational. You're not seeking attention. But your light is disruptive. And the enemy has taken notice. But so has heaven. You were sent to that space to carry something sacred. And now that the pressure is rising, you must carry it without bending to the weight of confusion. This is the mystery you must understand. Your disruption is their confirmation. You are not in danger. You are in destiny. And the opposition you're facing is the greatest indicator that spiritual promotion is near. But first discern, then obey. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for more prophetic insights, spiritual guidance, and divine revelations, so you never miss what heaven is speaking next. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is now activated. This is not workplace politics. This is not office drama. This is not personality clashes or professional differences. This is spiritual warfare. And you, beloved, are the target not because of your title, but because of your assignment. God positioned you there not to blend in, but to stand out as light in disguise. You've been wondering why the tension is rising. Why every time peace is restored, a new issue finds you. It's not a coincidence. It's a spiritual collision between light and darkness, and you are the light. The conflict you're facing isn't about who likes you. It's about what's in you. What's being birthed in you. What's being revealed through you. Your peace, your character, your integrity. It is spiritual resistance to the systems of manipulation and deceit that existed long before you arrived. They don't oppose you because you've done something wrong. They oppose you because your spiritual identity threatens the comfort of compromise they've grown used to. And heaven knew this would happen. Heaven was not surprised. In fact, heaven counted on it. Your placement in that environment was not to make friends, but to make movement in the spiritual realm. The friction is not about personality, it's about purpose. God orchestrated your arrival to that place because your presence was meant to expose what couldn't be addressed with policy alone. Your arrival disrupted routines. Your insight disturbed dysfunction. Your silence is now speaking louder than their noise. Listen closely. Heaven is not only watching, heaven is recording. Archangel Michael confirms this today. Your spiritual identity threatens theirs. The enemy sees it. The demonic realm senses it. They've tried to limit your influence by sowing confusion, isolating your voice, making you question your worth. But God says this is not the end. This is preparation. You are being refined through resistance, trained through tension, strengthened through silence. What feels like rejection is actually divine resistance, keeping you from connections that would have derailed your assignment. This isn't punishment. It's positioning. Your silence is strategic. Your stillness is anointed. Do not fight the process. Endure it righteously. Elevation is near. But only those who pass the silent tests will ascend without spiritual residue. Archangel Michael is preparing a path for you, not of escape, but of execution. Execution of purpose. Execution of justice. Execution of divine order. You're not leaving that space the same. Either you will be elevated within it, or heaven will relocate you beyond it. But either way, you will rise. Don't let the noise confuse your posture. You were never ordinary. You are spiritually marked, chosen, anointed, set apart. And heaven is using your presence to expose every hidden enemy without you having to say a word. Type "I am divinely positioned" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 444 is now surrounding you. Within the next 72 hours, something will come to light. This is not speculation. This is divine warning. The Spirit of God is issuing a timed alert. What hath been hidden in whispers, what has moved through emails laced with subtext, what has slithered through conversations not meant for your ears, it is about to be exposed. Not by your efforts, not by your digging, but by heaven's hand. The trap set for you is turning inward, and those who plan to shame you in secret are about to stumble publicly, not because you fought, but because you obeyed the instruction to stand still. But listen carefully, for this part is crucial. You will be baited. The moment of unveiling will not come cleanly. It will come wrapped in provocation. They will attempt to draw you out. They will say something subtle to trigger a response. A facial expression. A question masked in concern. A misleading report sent your way. They will try to provoke you into speaking prematurely, into defending yourself with emotion. But your weapon is not your reaction. It is your restraint. Archangel Michael warns, do not respond emotionally. Respond spiritually. Silence will be your signal. Stillness will be your sword. You must understand that these next 72 hours are laced with spiritual traps disguised as conversations. The enemy works not only in conflict but in communication. They will plant seeds, not all at once but gradually, to destabilize your atmosphere. One phrase at a time. One gesture. One deceptive offer. One orchestrated moment designed to paint you as what you are not. But remember, when heaven is preparing to elevate you, hell begins to panic. And panic always looks like strategy on the surface. You must discern what is coming not through your eyes but through your spirit. You were not warned for drama. You were warned for discernment. Because the hour is now. And heaven is not surprised. What they think is hidden has already been revealed before the throne. What they think his power is already crumbling. The clock is ticking not for your defeat, but for your divine reversal. You are not in danger. You are in process. What feels like spiritual pressure is actually the signal that your elevation is near. You are standing on the edge of a divine upgrade, and this final pressure is confirmation that the door is about to open. But here is the truth few will understand. Promotion comes wrapped in persecution. Favor invites exposure. Spiritual acceleration often brings spiritual jealousy. And this moment, this exact stretch of days, is the final gate you must walk through without breaking character. You don't need to explain who you are. Heaven has already vouched for you. You don't need to justify your intentions. The angelic realm has already recorded your posture. You don't need to fight for your place. Your name is being written into rooms you've never entered. The temptation to speak will feel righteous. But wait. Hold. Heaven fights differently. When you keep your posture in silence, the spiritual realm releases vindication without your voice having to plead your case. Do not be lured into emotional warfare, for your battle is not with flesh and blood. It is with principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness in high places. And you are above it, because you are covered by it, by God's glory, by His angels, by divine instruction. His warning is not to frighten you. It is to prepare you. When the moment comes, and it will, pause. Close your mouth and open your spirit. When heaven gives you the release, your response will not come from pain, but from power. Until then, resist the urge to clarify, correct, or confront. The revelation is coming, and with it, a shift you cannot stop, because it was written before the conflict ever began. Type "I am ready" for the revealing in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 515 is already surrounding you. Be still. The less you say, the more heaven moves. You are in the middle of divine strategy. You are not powerless. You are not exposed. You are not forgotten. You are being shielded. Archangel Michael has not just sounded the alarm. He has stationed angelic forces around your name, around your role, around your reputation, and around your spirit. The command now is protection through posture. You do not need to be loud. You need to be led. Led by wisdom. Led by silence. Led by supernatural discernment. The ones who win in this season will not be the most vocal, they will be the most spiritually still. Fast for reacting. That is your spiritual diet now. Fast from defending yourself, fast from proving yourself, fast from retaliating. Because every unnecessary word is a doorway, and you have too much destiny on the line to let the enemy walk through your words. Listen before you assume. Observe before you decide. And most importantly, discern before you speak. Your words are weighty in the spirit, and heaven is guiding you into a season where silence will preserve what noise would destroy. Pay attention to where your spirit feels stirred or heavy. That's where the interference is. The spaces that drain you, observe them. The people whose energy leaves you confused, step back. The rooms that feel darker when you enter, take notice. Your spirit is your alarm system, and right now is sounding loud. Heaven is not calling you to fix the room. Heaven is calling you to recognize when the room is no longer safe. Discernment is protection. Obedience is victory. Declare over yourself, "No weapon formed against me at work shall prosper." Say it until it becomes your shield. Say it until it becomes your breath. Speak it in the hallway. Whisper it before the meeting. Repeat it during the silence. Let that word build a wall around your peace. Because what is forming is real, but what is protecting you is greater. Avoid informal conversations. This is a word of wisdom. They are traps in disguise. The harmless venting sessions. The friendly check-ins. The so-called safe spaces that suddenly become evidence. Guard your voice. Guard your tone. Guard your presence. Not from paranoia, collaboration. God is not trying to isolate you. God is protecting you by consecrating you. Your current silence is not punishment. It is preservation. Heaven is orchestrating your next move. Whether it be exit or elevation, you won't have to open the door yourself. It will open on its own. The same God who placed you there is now reassigning your angelic escort. Every step forward is being watched, timed, and shielded by forces unseen. This is no longer about the job. It's about the journey. You are moving from observation to manifestation. But first, the test of trust. Can you trust God enough to stay silent when everything in you wants to be heard? You are covered. You are surrounded. You are marked. And when the time comes, you will speak, but not before. When God releases you, your words will carry authority. Not pain, not bitterness, not defensiveness, but divine authority. Until then, speak only what the Spirit allows. Nothing more, nothing less. This is your season of sacred stillness. The kind of stillness that makes demons tremble. The kind of stillness that confuses enemies. The kind of stillness that causes heaven to move rapidly on your behalf. Stay there. Stay in alignment. Stay in silence. Because the ones who wait on the Lord will mount up, not fall down. Type "I am protected" in the comments if this word confirms your spirit. Blessing code 811 is resting over you now. You are no longer their version of you. What they see, what they remember, is outdated. They are reacting to an old version of your presence, a former dimension of your identity. But heaven knows what they cannot comprehend. You have shifted. You have been upgraded in silence, refined in isolation, anointed in adversity. What once fit you, emotionally, spiritually, even professionally, is now shedding like worn-out skin. And as uncomfortable as this transition feels, it is proof that spiritual transformation is underway. What you feel is not collapse, it's construction. This trial was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal you. You've passed through fires that were designed to consume lesser spirits, but you remain. But undestroyed. The fire didn't kill you. It revealed the gold in you. The weight you carry now isn't heaviness, it's holiness. You've become more than a worker, more than a peer, more than a participant. You have become a spiritual gatekeeper in a place that once thought you were merely optional. And even they, the ones watching in silence, feel it. They sense your shift. They can't explain it, but they react to it. You've grown beyond workplace titles. The badge, the role, the desk, they no longer define you. Because your elevation started long before your next assignment. Heaven gave you a new mantle before earth gave you a new title. And now, you're walking through rooms that can no longer contain your spiritual weight. Your authority has increased, and your atmosphere is beginning to respond accordingly. That's why the discomfort has intensified. Not because you failed, but because you've outgrown where they tried to keep you. Wings are forming in silence. And what's uncomfortable now is not your fall, it's your takeoff. You are expanding in a space that was never designed to sustain your growth. But you stayed faithful. You stayed planted. And heaven has recorded every moment. The tears. The restraint. The prayers you didn't think were heard. The days you kept showing up even while being spiritually drained. All of it noted. Counted. Honored. They see the old you, but heaven sees royalty. They see the version of you they could manipulate. The one who used to shrink, second guess, and silently accept disrespect. But that version has been laid to rest. What remains is anointed. What remains is sharpened. What remains is royal. And that royalty does not scream to be recognized. It simply commands presence. Even your silence now carries a vibration that disrupts darkness. And they can feel it, even when you say nothing. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. The pain isn't punishment, it's labor. Something is being born through you. A new dimension, a new assignment, a new version of impact that requires you to shed old limitations. You've been upgraded in the spirit, and now your environment is catching up. You're stepping into empowerment not through external validation, but through internal revelation. You finally understand who you are, and that's the shift the enemy tried to delay. So take this moment and receive it fully. You are no longer operating from defense. You are moving from divine offense. You are no longer begging to be seen. You are stepping into the authority of being spiritually sent. The season of survival is over. Now begins the season of strategy, sovereignty, and spiritual acceleration. You don't have to prove it. You just have to walk in it. Type "I am empowered" in the comments if this word meets you where you are. Blessing code 922 is now active in your life. This is your unlocking, and you know it. That job was never final. That position was never permanent. It was a passage, not a promise. And though it felt safe, comfortable, and routine, heaven has always seen it as a temporary station on a supernatural journey. The limitations you've been sensing are not setbacks, they're signals. You've outgrown the structure that once served you. What felt like security now feels like restriction because your calling has expanded beyond what this current environment can contain. Heaven permitted this battle to activate your next call. Every betrayal, every awkward glance, every sabotage attempt, none of it was wasted. None of it caught God by surprise. Every attack was a tool. Every opposition was a classroom. Every disappointment was a launchpad. You've been undergoing spiritual surgery in public while appearing functional in private. But now, your alignment has triggered a divine shift. A location. Promotion. Restoration. It's not just coming. It's already happening in the unseen. You must understand. Your name is being spoken in angelic realms. Your file has been opened in the spiritual ports. What looks like silence in the natural is actually strategic noise in the heavens. Angels are moving. Timing is aligning. The doors are being commanded to open, not by your hands, but by divine decree. This conflict wasn't meant to paralyze you. It was prophecy in motion, and you were faithful enough to walk through it without aborting your assignment. What seemed like opposition was the shaking necessary to awaken your next level. The discomfort was divine. You wouldn't have moved otherwise. You wouldn't have questioned the structure if it hadn't turned on you. And now that it has, your spiritual sight is clear. You were not overlooked. You were reserved. Hidden for the right time. Concealed for the correct door. Not denied, protected. This pain is a womb. And you are in labor, not with defeat, but with power. The stretching, the pressure, the isolation. It's all evidence that something new is pushing through. The old version of you wouldn't survive what's next. That's why the old space is rejecting you. Because your elevation demands a new frequency. And heaven is shifting you toward it moment by moment. You are not behind. You are not late. You are in alignment. The chaos that surrounds you is not proof of failure. It is the confirmation that your name has entered a season of divine movement. And even though you may not see it yet, the evidence is coming. A sudden email. An unexpected offer. A shift in tone. A released responsibility. A new door opening not by your hustle, but by your obedience. Your battle was never about what you can lose, it was about what you were about to gain. And now that you've endured, now that you've held your peace, now that you've stood when everything said run, you are ready. Ready to be revealed. Ready to be repositioned. Ready to walk in the thing you were always meant for. If this message has opened something in your spirit and you'd like to support this sacred work, consider sending a super thanks of $10. Your generosity helps us continue releasing more divine content that reaches and restores hearts like yours. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now if you haven't already. Stay aligned with regular prophetic insight, divine instruction, and heaven-sent empowerment for your journey. Type I am unlocked in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 3030 is now covering your next chapter. Now is the hour to speak it out loud. I align with divine purpose today. Not tomorrow. Not when it feels safe. Not once everything makes sense. Today. Because heaven is not waiting on their approval, heaven is waiting on your agreement. There is a door that won't open until your spirit fully agrees with the assignment. There is a scroll in the spirit realm with your name sealed across it, waiting for your yes to unlock it. You are not stuck. You are not small. You are not late. You are on the edge of divine acceleration, and the only thing left is for your mouth to match what your spirit already knows. You must stop shrinking. Stop waiting for others to validate your readiness. Stop trying to convince yourself you're not qualified. Heaven already declared you worthy when they still saw you as replaceable. They don't have to see it. You have to believe it. You must speak life into your morning, life into your mirror, life into your environment. Because the environment responds to the sound of a soul in alignment. Everything changes when your language matches your destiny. You can't keep praying for next level promotion while speaking last seasoned out. You are not a maybe. You are a mandate. Purpose responds to motion. If you wait for clarity before you move, you'll miss what God only reveals in the walk. Abraham didn't get the blueprint. He got the instruction. And like him, you are being called to move in faith, to walk even while others stay frozen. You must write the vision. Revisit your assignment. Return to the journal you forgot. Pick up the blueprint you dropped when the warfare hit. God has not forgotten your dream. but he's waiting on your obedience to re-engage it. This delay wasn't denial. It was divine incubation. Move now, not with perfection, but with purpose. Not with certainty, but with courage. This is not about results, it's about alignment. Elevation in this hour is spiritual first. The shifting in the natural realm follows decisions made in the spirit. And God is asking you now, will you move in obedience even if the applause hasn't started yet? Because what you're stepping into isn't applause-worthy, it's assignment mandated. You've been trained in the shadows. You've been molded through moments no one saw. But heaven saw it. Heaven counted the cost. And now, the release is here. The work environment was never the final destination. It was never the reward. It was the refining ground. The space where you learned the power of discernment, the weight of wisdom, and the authority of silence. And now, the lesson is shifting. Now, the terrain changes. You are being called into a greater measure of impact. God is activating you as a leader, not a follower. Not in position only, but in presence. You were designed to shift atmospheres, not conform to them. You were sent to command peace, not beg for it. There is oil on your life that doesn't match your job title. There is authority on your voice that doesn't match your resume. But it matches your calling. And heaven is now blowing fresh wind on that calling. Today begins the walk into destiny activation. And so, you speak it now. I align. I accept. I activate. You no longer wait for them to see what God already confirmed. You declare it before it appears. And in that declaration, heaven responds. The door will open. The favor will follow. The instruction will come. Not because you forced it, but because you align with it. Type I align with purpose in the comments if your destiny is stirring. Blessing code 1441 is awakening your name in heaven right now. While they plotted, heaven was negotiating. While their mouths spoke in conference rooms, the courts of heaven convened in silence. What they thought they whispered behind your back, God already heard before they formed the sentence. What they type in shadows, heaven exposed in light. Every scheme formed against you was intercepted in the unseen. Every curse disguised as a comment. Every misrepresentation. Every unjust decision. All of it was countered in the spirit realm before it ever reached your desk. The reason you've been restless, even in sleep, is because a silent exchange has been taking place. You felt it, not in your body, but in your spirit. Heaven has been recovering what was spoken against you. Conversations you'll never hear have been reversed in dimensions you'll never enter. God has been rewriting the script while you've remained still. While you slept. While you wept. While you wondered if heaven was still aware. The answer is yes, more aware than ever. There are scrolls being shifted in your favor. Your record is being cleansed from the lies. Your atmosphere is being realigned. What they tried to bind in words is being loosed in worship. Your tears were not a weakness. They were evidence. Evidence of your restraint. Evidence of your trust. Evidence that, while you had every reason to retaliate, you chose instead to release it to God. And heaven responds to restraint. Heaven blesses the ones who kept their posture while under pressure. You could have defended yourself, but you didn't. And now the divine exchange begins. Shame for honor. Restoration for fulfillment. Delay for acceleration. Brokenness for breakthrough. Even now, the restlessness you feel is not chaos. It's confirmation. You are sensing the transfer before you see the results. You are picking up in your spirit what's shifting in your story. The warfare has not been random. It hath been evidence of transaction. Something was purchased on your behalf in the spirit. Not with money, but with obedience. Not with manipulation, but with faithfulness. And now the transfer is underway. You've been spiritually remembered. You are not forgotten. The meetings they had without you didn't disqualify you. They qualified you for greater. Because when men exclude, God includes. When man shuts doors, heaven builds new ones. You are not a victim of the plot. You are the evidence of the plan. And the plot is now folding under the pressure of divine timing. Do not fear the silence. The silence is sacred. It's not absence. It's activity. The Holy Spirit is working through stillness, rebuilding your foundation, writing your ending. The night has been long, but dawn is coming with recompense. Angels are finalizing your new assignment. New favor, new territory, new alliances. And you will walk into it not bitter but better, not angry but anointed, not bruised but built up. You were seen when no one spoke your name. You were chosen when they passed you over. And now, heaven is releasing what only heaven could create: reversal, realignment, and restoration. Your obedience was never wasted. It was a seed. And now, the harvest begins. Type "I am remembered" in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 1717 has been released to seal this transaction. Your words return empty. Yours are ascending. The declarations they formed in secret, the emails layered with undertones, the meetings where your name was mentioned without truth, those words are now hitting the boundary of heaven's justice. Because when God steps into a matter, everything changes. What they attempted to construct against you in the natural realm is now being dismantled in the spirit. This is not karma. This is not coincidence. This is divine reversal, governed by the supreme court of heaven, where Archangel Michael stands as a witness on your behalf. What they whispered will now be revealed and reversed. Every lie is being unraveled. Every deception is being pulled into the light. They use silence as a weapon, but God is using silence as a stage. Your silence, your restraint, your refusal to stoop to their level, these were not weaknesses. They were legal evidence in the spirit realm. Heaven took note that you did not curse what you could have. You did not retaliate when slander surfaced. You chose character over clapbacks. And now, the gavel has fallen in your favor. Spiritual justice is already moving through your timeline. You're not waiting on it. You're standing in it. Even if it hasn't reached the natural yet, it's already been released in the unseen. The delay you felt, it was only the alignment. Heaven has been shifting pieces you couldn't see, arranging names, redirecting conversations, exposing intentions, releasing records. And now, you will witness a divine reversal that cannot be silenced. God will elevate you publicly where they tried to destroy you privately, not out of vengeance but out of divine order. Because the kingdom does not reward faithfulness in the dark with shame in the light. The kingdom responds with honor. What was meant to humiliate you will become the platform for your testimony. The very table where they sought to exclude you, you will now sit at it in authority. The very position they said you'd never reach, God is lifting you into it without needing their agreement. Your faith is calling restoration into manifestation. The time of spiritual restitution has come. Every sleepless night, every confusing conversation, every emotional wound, heaven is counting it. You didn't lose, you sowed. You sowed tears. You sowed trust. You sowed silence. And now, the law of divine reciprocity is releasing your harvest. Restoration will look like new clarity, new opportunities, unexpected favor, relationships healed, influence expanded, and most of all, spiritual freedom. You will testify, look what God reversed. You'll look back at this battle not with bitterness, but with awe. You will remember the moments you almost gave up and realize they were the gates of breakthrough. You'll see how every delay was divine protection. You'll see how heaven used what hurt you to hone you. You will see how the betrayal was necessary to remove the veil from your eyes. What was meant for evil was rerouted for glory, and your elevation is the evidence. Heaven's court has ruled, and your favor is final. No appeal, no reversal. No sabotage can override what's been sealed by divine authority. The stamp of heaven is on your name, and what God has approved, no man can cancel. The narrative is shifting. The power is returning. The light is rising. If this message confirms what you've been sensing, consider sending a super chat or super thanks of $5 to support this sacred work and keep the word flowing to those who need it most. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for ongoing spiritual revelations, prophetic insight, and content that aligns you with your divine assignment. Type "I receive justice" in the comments if you know this word is yours. Blessing code 1818 has been released and is now hovering over your household. Now hear this final decree. You are spiritually sealed for victory and clarity. You will not walk in confusion anymore. You will not live beneath your calling. You will not doubt what heaven has already decided. This is not a motivational word. This is a divine affirmation. Archangel Michael himself has been dispatched, not only to war on your behalf, but to encamp around your workplace, your home, your spirit, and your name. You are not unprotected. You are fortified. Repeat this now in your atmosphere. I rise in wisdom, favor, and silence. Say it again until your environment obeys. Because this isn't just about escaping drama. This is about embodying destiny. You have passed the test. The spiritual exam has concluded. You were watched in silence and found worthy in stillness. The angels have taken notes on your responses, and now the heavens are shifting you into a new dimension. There's no need to rehearse the pain. There's no need to relive the betrayal. You're not carrying residue, you're carrying revelation. And that revelation says this: you were being built for something greater than the position you almost idolized. You were being prepared for something deeper than the praise you were waiting on. You were being positioned for impact. And now, you walk in that impact, unapologetically, faithfully, prophetically. Go now, not in fear but in divine knowing. Go into your next meeting with the authority of someone who has seen both warfare and worship and survived both. Go into your next opportunity knowing it was handpicked for your growth. Go with eyes wide open, with ears tuned to the Spirit, with a heart postured in obedience. You are covered. You are kept. You are commissioned. You are seen. You are chosen. You are sent. Type "I am sent" in the comments if this final word settles in your soul. Blessing code 2020 is now released over your next season.